Now to our ABC News exclusive interview with Oscar show producer Will Packer. TJ, of course, you spoke with him about the moment that stunned the world, the moment that everyone is still talking about.
But you remember how excited he was on the red carpet when we talked to him?
I do.
He was so giddy to have this moment, an all-black Oscar producing team for the first time. And then this moment kind of took all that away from him. But he gave us some interesting detail about what's going on behind the scenes and also just how close Will Smith might have come to being arrested.
It sounds like Chris Rock had the ability, the option, to have the LAPD go arrest and remove Will Smith from that theater that night.
That's an absolute fact. The LAPD made it clear, we will do whatever you want us to do, and one of the options is that we will go and arrest him right now.
Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the out of me.
That moment came after what we now know was an unscripted joke from Rock about Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, who's recently been vocal about her battle with alopecia.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
You're sitting, monitors around you. Tell me what's in your room around you.
I said, watch this. He's gonna kill. Because I knew he had an amazing lineup of jokes that we had. We had him in the prompter. And ultimately, he did not get to one joke. He didn't tell one of the planned jokes. He was just immediately freestyling. But I thought this was part of something that Chris and Will were doing on their own. I thought it was a bit. I thought it was a bit like everybody else. I knew we hadn't practiced it.
Not concerned.
I wasn't concerned at all.
As he's walking.
I figured, okay, you know, he's gonna say something or come at him. Something funny is gonna happen because that's the nature of Chris and that's the nature of Will. So let's see what happens.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth!
I'm going to, okay?
Once I saw Will yelling at the stage with such vitriol, my heart dropped. And I just remember thinking, oh no, not like this. And Chris was keeping his head when everybody else was losing theirs. But my heart at that point was just in my stomach because of everything about it and what it represented and what it looked like and who was involved. All of that was just, I've never felt so immediately devastated like I did in that moment.
But it still wasn't until Rock walked backstage that Packer was finally convinced that Smith had actually struck him.
The winners are walking off stage, Chris is with them. And I immediately go up to Chris.
And you say what or you do what?
I said, did he really hit you? And he looked at me and he goes, yeah. He goes, I just took a punch from Muhammad Ali, as only Chris can. He was immediately, you know, in joke mode, but you could tell that he was very much still in shock. I made that clear, like, Rock, you tell me, whatever you want to do, brother. And he was telling me, I'm fine. Let's just get past this. I'm getting out of here. I can't believe this happened. The LAPD came and needed to talk to Chris. And so they came into my office and they were laying out very clearly what Chris's rights were. And they were saying, this is battery. We will go get him. We are prepared. We're prepared to get him right now. You can press charges. We can arrest him. As they were talking, Chris was, he was being very dismissive of those options. He was like, no, I'm fine. He was like, no. And even to the point where I said, Rock, let him finish. And they said, you know, would you like us to take any action? And he said, no. He said no. And I didn't have any conversation with Will.
But the Academy says they asked Smith to leave, which he refused.
A lot of folks immediately were wondered why he got up, walked that far, assaulted somebody, went back to his seat and was allowed to stay.
Right.
What was the conversation behind the scenes?
It happened to be right before the Best Actor Award. Shayla told me that they were about to physically remove Will Smith. And I had not been a part of those conversations. And so I immediately went to the Academy leadership that was on site and I said, Chris Rock doesn't want that. I said, Rock has made it clear that he does not want to make a bad situation worse. That was Chris's energy. His tone was not retaliatory. His tone was not aggressive and angry. And so I was advocating what Rock wanted in that time, which was not to physically remove Will Smith at that time, because as it has now been explained to me, that was the only option at that point. It has been explained to me that there was a conversation that I was not a part of to ask him to voluntarily leave.
Will Smith later said on Instagram, "I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong. I'm embarrassed and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be."
When did you finally get a chance to touch base with Will Smith?
Will Smith reached out to me the next morning and said, and he apologized. And he said, you know, this should have been a gigantic moment for you. And he expressed his embarrassment, and that was the extent of it.
Will Smith!
Folks at home who had just seen the assault minutes later are now watching a room, mostly of the folks in the room, giving a standing ovation to that guy.
Yeah.
Who had just assaulted somebody.
Yeah. You know, I probably have a different perspective on that, TJ, because I was in the room and I know a lot of those people. I don't think that these were people that were applauding anything at all about that moment. And all these people saw their friend at his absolute worst moment and were hoping that they could encourage him and lift him up and that he would somehow try to make it better.
Do you wish Will Smith had left after that? Do you wish he did not remain a part of your ceremony?
It couldn't be made right in that moment because of what had happened. But I think we were hoping that he would make it better, that he would stand on that stage and say what just happened minutes ago was absolutely and completely wrong. Chris Rock, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. That's what I was hoping for. If he wasn't going to give that speech, which made it truly better, then yes. Yes.
You talk so much about how great the energy was in that room.
Yeah.
After the incident,
Yeah.
what happened to the energy in the room?
Sucked completely out of it. It was like somebody poured concrete in that room. Because Chris handled the moment with such grace and aplomb, it allowed the show to continue. It was such a huge moment and such a sad and disappointing moment that it wasn't something that we were going to come back from.
Chris Rock saved the Oscars that night? Did he save the show that night?
I think he did. I think he did.
It's just remarkable how honest and how authentic. I mean, he's not lawyered up. He's not telling you what, you want to hear. He's just telling you what happened.
And he's telling you about his experience. And we heard more about, look, we saw on stage how big of a man that Chris Rock was. He was an even bigger man behind the scenes.
Which is what it's amazing to hear. I'm really glad he pointed that out. Incredible interview. And thank you for bringing it to us. I know a lot of us are just wanting more, actually.
All right. And our thanks to Will Packer again for sitting down with us.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.